Welcome everybody to Through the Darkness here on Spreaker.com, blogtalkradio.com, and ParaXRadioNetwork.com. I am on all over the web. I have decided to push my podcast as far as it can go. I think it's important that all our voices are heard. I also have a show on Blog Talk Radio Live that is stored here. I haven't exactly started it yet because I want to make sure it's the right time, but it's also stored here and on Blog Talk called By Way of Connecticut. And that is a show about getting the voices back of the citizens of Connecticut. Other parts of the country as well. I don't have any problem with other people coming on and talking. What I'm going to try to do is allow for people to call in and voice their opinions, because a lot of people express that they don't have a voice, that their voices are being squashed. And I don't like that. I don't care if you disagree with me. I don't care if you think I'm evil. I don't care if you think I'm the devil, whatever. You wouldn't be the first one. My problem is that people need a voice. All people need a voice. And in society today, we have people who are mob rule, and it's been going on for a few years. I mean, I'm getting old, and it's been going on for quite a number of years. Bullying and silencing people who disagree, push. Then, like Antifa and the likes of them, coming out in a very Marxist way and Nazi communist way, pushing people, shoving people. You ever notice how they go in and they shove people who are known to be weaker than them? They're chicken shits with, a badge of courage on them, I pretend. And they're pushing people at schools. I got to tell you a story. Now, I started school last semester, August 2019. Can you imagine? It's been almost a year. I can't. I never thought I'd get through and never thought I'd get into my second year of college. And I love the college and I love the kids. They're wonderful, great kids, don't get me wrong. But I remember last year sitting in the cafeteria and watching the kids and feeling very blessed, okay? I love kids. I love young people. I think that the kids of the world today are going to do a lot of great things. I saw black kids that lived in horrible poverty, horrible neighborhoods. Coming into that class, I took English in August 2019 to December, and some of these kids I was in tears. These are the heroes, as far as I'm concerned. They were working 2 jobs, taking care of their siblings, and going to school to get their degree, and not complaining, not saying a word about it. And I just thought, my God, we have got the label of hero on the wrong people, And I was sitting there, drinking coffee, and it was probably like September or October. And this little old lady, older than me, she was old. She looked ancient. No offense to her. She's not listening to my show, I can assure you, but she wouldn't recognize herself. Anyway, and I thought, wow, she's old. And she was taking a survey, supposedly. And she came over to me and she said, "Hi, how are you?" And I thought, no, I don't know how I am. You're kind of weird. But I didn't say it. And she said, "We're just taking a survey to see who you're voting for." And I said, "Well, it's not an election year." And she said, "Well, I know that, but it's just to get a survey." And I said, "I don't think you're supposed to ask people that." And she said, "Well, I'm going to ask you some things about." She quickly went into a little digression. If I'm going to ask you some things about what you're concerned with in society, what you're concerned with when the election comes up, what do you want to see changed, what do you think needs to be concentrated on? And I said, "Well, I'm a little nervous about health care as I get older." And she kind of looked at me like I was nuts, and I thought, what? And she kind of hurried me along, and I said, well, that's about the only thing. And she said, do you support, I forget who it was at the time that was considering running. And I said, no, I'm considering voting for Trump. I said, I kind of like what he's done, some of the things that he's done in the last 3 years. So I'm thinking of voting, staying in support of him. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking of voting for him, perhaps, unless they bring a better candidate against him. And she looked at me, I swear to God, like she was going to kill me. It wasn't even just that she disagreed. It was that she looked at me like she was going to kill me. And I sat there and I was like, looked down at the piece of paper that she had in her hand, and students had written on it, "Fuck Trump," and Biden 2020, or Bernie Sanders for socialism and Nazi rule. And, no, they didn't put that. I'm putting that. Bernie Sanders and this, that, and the other thing. But most of the things that they did was fuck Trump, fuck Trump. Excuse my language. And I thought, wow, this is not about getting an opinion. This is about manipulating an opinion. So then she left my table very quickly and kept giving me the stank eye. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. And I never really knew that it was that bad, because I'm from a different era where I remember when I was young and people hated Ronald Reagan, but it wasn't to the same extent. These people are bullying. These people have gotten into the education system. These people have gotten into Karl Marx and the Communist Manifesto. And it's really, really scary when you see this happening, because kids don't understand, because they're not being taught. And the cat just ran up behind me. There he is. You might hear barking, you might hear some noise on my show. When is that not true? But kids today are not getting an education in truth. They're getting programmed. And I do shows on MK Ultra and mind control. Boy, are we in it, guys. And it's hard to debate people on places like Facebook or email or commentary, because people, again, to go off to the operant conditioning, it's MK Ultra. All these things, if you read the book The Art of War, or even breeze through it, you could see a lot of things that they're doing comes from these techniques. I think it's all to usher in Marxism and communism in America. But it's hard to argue or debate. I shouldn't say argue. A lot of people argue. I like to call it debate. But people who feel like they're being disagreed with tend to get angry and throw little tantrums. But I've noticed it a lot more in the religions, more so than I care to even. I don't even want to deal with it. I'm so tired of what I see, and I realize that what happened to me in terms of the ritualistic stuff was a very, very, very big way of me seeing what is going on now in this world. And I don't know, maybe it isn't the Holy Spirit or God compelling me to talk about it. Maybe it is. I don't know. I like to believe it is. Maybe it isn't. Maybe God's saying, shut up and just go through your life and be glad that you recognize some things. But I saw what happened in my life because of this aspects of the negative religions, mind control and operant conditioning, and conditioning overall through abuse and manipulation. So I see it happening in society. So I would very much like if some people would hear me out. Not saying you have to agree. I know it's hard, but saying hear me out. At least give it consideration. Oh, my ferret decided he was going to chime in. They like to come on the table and and crawl on me. And I have 3 ferrets, a puppy, and a 16-year-old cat, and I love them so much. And they're all so happy. I'm beginning to like animal company better than human company, but that goes without saying. So I hope that you will hear me out. So I'm reading about these religions, and I'm thinking of returning to the Catholic Church. I've had a thorn in my side with the Catholic Church for years, and I realize it's not the church or the faith, but it is different people. But I thought, I go to Trinity Baptist Church in New Haven, and it's a lovely, lovely, lovely church. I feel like I belong. They're welcoming to me. I was going to get baptized. I took the class to get baptized there. And I have no problem at all with other religions. I have no problem at all with people who do New Age or people who are, if people want to be Satanists, let them be Satanists. I have no problem with people being a certain belief system, even if I don't agree with it. That's their business and that's their right. But I don't know, something is calling me back to the church, and I don't want to go, to be honest with you. So I was reading, I was thinking, why do I not want to go? It was very helpful to me. My faith was very important to me. Very, very important to me in my childhood. I have to keep this on, because if I don't keep the windows open, you might hear clicks, excuse that. I won't be able to remember what I was going to say. So I'm thinking of going back, to make a long story short, for goodness sake. And so I'm talking to people, and I know there's people praying for me, and I really appreciate that. But I love my church in New Haven. Trinity Baptist Church is a very good social church. They do a lot for the poor. They have ministries. I'm not saying the Catholic Church doesn't. But my history with the Catholic Church is troubled. Yes, I had a formal exorcism. No, they didn't finish it. And it was their irresponsibility, a lot of the reason that I had the suffering that I did. So I'm trying to disentangle myself from that hurt. I don't want to be angry at the entire church because of what a few people did. So I've been watching, this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about. And I'd love for you to give me a ring or an email, christinecorda@gmail.com, or if you prefer, without using the word psychic, you can email me at christinecorda@yahoo.com. I'm trying to get a priest to come on and debate with me in a nice, polite way, but I can't find any. I'm starting to think I smell. Of course, I don't know any, so I suppose I should go to like a radio interview site and see if I can find one there. The Pope's busy. He can't come on. But, so I'm thinking, I'm going to go back to the church. I'd like to receive communion. That was something that I really did always believe firmly in. Last night, and for like a week, 2 weeks, I've been saying the Chaplet of Mercy every day. Almost saying the Rosary. I'm almost going back to saying the Rosary. And I don't want to disrespect the faith by not being in the faith, practicing part of a faith that I'm not fully embracing. So I don't want to play cherry pick my beliefs. If I'm going to be Catholic, I'm going to be fully Catholic, or I'm not going to be Catholic at all. You see what I mean? So anyway, I was reading about and saw on TV that they were trying to take the statues of racist saints down off of the things that they're on, pedestals, is that what they call it? And they've been successful in doing so. And it really bothers me because it isn't about the statues. It's a symbol of Marxism taking over. That's what it is. If you read about Karl Marx and what happened when he was around and different things about Marxism, which they're not teaching in school, because they're actually teaching that Marxism is a good thing. There are some things that I'm hearing in college at 56 years old that I am sitting there saying, you got to be out of your minds. And some of the teachers that I speak to, they nod. Some of them, they just, we can't talk about that here and all that other great and unbelievable, obvious uh, um, censoring. So they're taking statues down. Why? If someone was racist, it's a hurtful thing, you know? But saying that someone who wants the statues kept up is a racist is like saying somebody, a Jew, who doesn't want to forget the Holocaust is a Nazi. It's the same thing. When we remember what happened, we don't forget. You see what I mean? We don't forget the vile hatred of the Nazis. We don't forget the vile hatred of racists who hated everyone. Racists hated themselves. Racists were terrible to black people. Above all, black people got the worst of it. That's my opinion. You can disagree or agree, I don't care. My family on the Irish side were indentured servants. They were treated horribly. So, here's my point, and I do have one. There was two statues of Saint Junipero Serra, I think I'm pronouncing that right, that they were going to try to take them down. It was displayed in front of the church for almost 80 years. It's going to make me cry. For some reason, I literally feel tears welling up. I shouldn't care. I shouldn't care because I'm a lapsed Catholic, but yet somehow I do. And this is taken from the Catholic World Report. I'm just going to read it to you. It's from the CatholicWorldReport.com, an article by the Catholic News Association, I think CNA, Daily News. San Juan Capistrano Mission relocates San Junipero Serra statues for protection. First of all, I don't believe that. All they got to do is call the police. All they've got to do is call the National Guard. I don't care. This is what's bothering me. They're going along with it, but they're making an appearance that they're not. June 25th, 2020, two statues of St. Junipero Serra have been moved from a Catholic mission and church in Southern California amid fears of vandalism as protests around the state continue to topple statues. The mission San Juan Capistrano and its neighboring church have removed statues of Serra from their outside displays this week. Diocese of Orange spokesperson Tracy Kincaid told the OC Register that Mission Basilica San Juan Capistrano moved the statue out of a precaution. The statue, which was anchored to a pedestal at the entrance, was removed June 23rd. The mission next door relocated the statue from its front courtyard to its Sala building. The 104-year-old statue has been displayed for almost 80 years. It will soon be part of a mission exhibit on the life of Serra. The statue was moved to ensure its protection and was relocated to also ensure its continued access to the public, mission staff said in a June 24th Facebook post. The basilica was built in 1986 to accommodate the growing Catholic community, which outgrew the mission's smaller Serra chapel. The mission San Juan Capistrano was established by Serra in 1776. Serra statues are among numerous depictions of historic figures pulled down in the past week amid ongoing protests and riots throughout the country. While some protests have torn down the statues of Confederate figures as part of a call to end systematic racism, other statues have also been torn down from prominent locations, including one of George Washington, and here in New Haven, Christopher Columbus. During the 18th century, Serra founded 9 Catholic missions in the area that would later become California. Many of those missions would go on to become the centers of major California cities. Serra helped to convert thousands of native Californians to Christianity and taught them new agricultural technologies. Critics have lambasted Serra as a symbol of European colonism and said the missions engaged in the forced labor of Native Americans, sometimes claiming Blessed Serra himself was abusive. But Serra's defenders say that Serra was actually an advocate for Native people and a champion of human rights. They note that many Native people he helped during his life and their outpouring of grief at his death. Biographers note that Serra frequently intervened for Native people when they faced persecution from Spanish authorities. In one case, the priest intervened to spare the lives of several California natives who had attacked a Spanish outpost. Archbishop Salvatore Cordileone, I think I'm pronouncing that right, but wow, of San Francisco issued a June 20th statement highlighting the saint's good work, saying Saint Serra made heroic sacrifices to protect the indigenous people of California from their Spanish conquerors, especially the soldiers. From their Spanish conquerors. That's why they're taking it down. For the past 800 years, the various Franciscan orders of brothers and sisters and priests that trace their inspiration back to him have been exemplary of not only serving but identifying with the poor and downtrodden and giving them their rightful dignity as children of God, the Archbishop said. The California Catholic Conference of Bishops similarly defended Serra, saying the historical truth is that Serra repeatedly pressed the Spanish authorities for better treatment of the Native American communities. Serra was not simply a man of his times. In working with the Native Americans, he was a man ahead of his times who made great sacrifices to defend and serve the indigenous population and work against an oppression that extends far beyond the mission era, they said. And if that is not enough to legitimate a public statue in the state that he did so much to create, then virtually every historical figure from our nation's past will have to be removed for their failings, measured in the light of today's standards. Very, very well. Very, very well, and reported and stated. I don't understand what Europeans have to do with it. I think this is deeper than anything about racism. I think that this is much deeper than anything about racism. But my problem, there was another article, and for some reason I have a bunch of wild animals, that I'm trying to watch while I'm doing this podcast. That's why I don't do a lot of live shows anymore, because I have these. My dog just took her out, is taking her afternoon nap. And my ferret finally fell asleep. And that's why I don't do live. Anyway, I can't find my articles that I was reading. So why are they taking the statues? Why do you relocate something? Did you know that it's literally, I'm tearing up. A comment on one of the articles about the statue coming down is this, and this is my problem. Why aren't the priests and the bishop, forget about the Pope, he's too busy washing people's feet. Why aren't they speaking out and telling us to fight? Not get a gun and fight and kill them, but in numbers, believe me, we could fight back. These people who are taking the statues down, they're trying to steal. They're trying to steal a culture that they can't create on their own, because they're losers. And losers steal, losers cheat, losers lie, and losers remove history. I'm not saying racism didn't happen. I'm saying that they're not about racism. They're about removing everything so they can manipulate, or whoever's pulling their strings can manipulate the New World Order or the New Age or whatever it is that you want to call it. What my question is, why aren't the bishops standing up in their churchyards, in their courtyards, and saying no? Remember in the Bible when Jesus went into the temple and those people were selling their wares and he got mad and he overturned the tables? There's righteous anger, there's righteous fighting, there's righteous battles. And this is one that we need to get involved in. I'm going to go back to it again. And I've said it 100 times. If you listen to me on any habitual listener knows that I've said it before. When I was young and I came out of the situation that I was in, and the ritualistic aspects of it, which people don't even believe in anymore, I talked to the church in my hometown and the priests, a few priests and a few ministers. They got together. Some were not even Catholic, some were Catholic priests that were young. And I talked about what happened to me, and I said, listen, this is something that God has shown me. This was 180 years ago, back in the early 80s. And they agreed, and they said, we're going to bring in more people so you can talk to them, more pastors, so we can get the warning out. A couple weeks, whatever, went by. Some time went by, and they weren't talking to me. I was like, what did I do? I felt really bad. I said, what did I do? Did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong, or what's going on? And I called the priest that I had known, and I said, what did I do? You don't want me to speak anymore? And he said, oh, Christine, of course not. You spoke very well, and it was a very interesting subject, and we're still talking about it. But we can't really do the meetings anymore because we don't want to upset anyone. I could still hear him saying it. And I said, upset anyone? I said, who's going to be upset about what I talk about? I was talking about the satanic cults that were infiltrating the churches, which they've been doing for thousands of years anyway. But it became very important to me to speak out about it. And maybe I'm just dumb, naive, to think that anybody's going to listen to me anyway, although emails do suggest that people do hear me. But I couldn't get over that statement. Who are we going to upset? But he wouldn't answer me. Who were we going to upset in the church? By talking about the pedophilia of children, the satanic, demonic, devil worship, ritualistic abuse of children. Never answered me. So flash forward 180 years to now. It feels like 180 years. And they're tearing down the statue. And I think that these people are not seeing our pain. I think that they're know-it-alls. I think that they're being run MK Ultra, trauma-based, fear-based mind control, operant conditioning, fear-based manipulation, political correctness, playing on the emotions of people, and not critical thinking, not critical understanding, and it's going to ruin this society because people don't know what they're doing. A comment on the Catholic Report, Catholic World Report article, a comment that was something I replied to said, "It is a shame our priests and bishops have failed chronically to teach us about our faith and how to defend it. This culture has crumbled around us while they have been either silent or allied with the wrong side." And this is what I wrote in response, and I'm going to say it here. I agree. I am a lapsed Catholic and was getting ready to return when all of this broke out. I told a few others that we needed to fight back, not violently, but fight back. They disagreed and tried to shame me. I didn't even go back to the discussion on Facebook because any minute it was going to be that I was hearing the devil's voice and I'm the devil and the devil's attacking the church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. No, the gates of hell won't prevail against the church, but it certainly will prevail against the people in it. won't it? And if that's what you were told, God help you. And they disagreed and they tried to shame me, so I left. And I shook the dust off my feet. I'm joking. A Lenin statue, meanwhile, is safe in all his communist glory in Seattle, Washington. Nobody has touched the Lenin statue. The former premier of the unit remains. A Lenin statue is safe and sound in all his communist glory in Seattle, Washington, but the threatening saints are coming down. Mary was right at Fatima. Mary at Fatima. I'm literally in tears. I don't know why. Beware of rushed errors. Beware of that anymore. Lenin was a dictator. Trump is not. Lenin emphasized the transition from capitalism to socialism. Trump is not. Lenin added a whole bunch to Marxism because they are all communists. The white told the truth. They are attacking God and Jesus Christ through the destruction of the statues. They're not attacking mosques. They're attacking Christian churches. It just mean nothing, but the symbolism is there. Our Lady was very correct at Fatima. It downloading and keeping things because they do this over time in the history. They're doing it. They want to destroy histories, make everybody slow down, like in the schools. I never thought I would. Thank God I did. Never thought I would. We're going to have a society of people who can't think and they will not speak. They will be autistic. They will be dumb control. That you pray for really need, and that you pray about what I say, please. Jesus resonated his soul these last couple of years, and I am Virgin. Get that with the history gospel. She said, spread its errors around the world. She predicted scholars understand this. The various nations would be in Hebrew.com 27. That's John Immaculate Heart of God for the sins of communism. Where did we get it? I'm shamed. Oh no. Lips were perceived as silent during the Holocaust, which they were. Silent. Any excuses for the opposite. But I get it. You know, I really do. I don't really like it, but I get it. What are we going to do? What happens when they start coming to our homes? Do you know that I personally know a person who was threatened to be shot? The police came and let it go because the person who threatened to shoot the person was black, and they're being told to stand down. They're being told to stand down in Seattle, Washington. Where is that chopper place? They're being told to stand down, not because people are black or white, but because they're being told to stand so these things can go on. Because it's planned. It's carried out. speak out. They need to stand with their parishioners, who they supposedly shepherd, and stop standing and hiding in their confessionals, trying to play holier than thou. And oh, I've got so many plenary indulgences. I'm better than you. You're the devil, and you're evil, and you're racist, and we're victims. And stand up for the faith of Jesus Christ, regardless of what church we go to. Stand up for the faith of Jesus Christ, who saved us, who suffered for us in ways we will never be able to fathom. Maybe there's not a whole bunch of things that I know, but I know that. And they took it down anyway. And then the bishop said, oh my God, it's being hijacked. It's being hijacked by your sister. That's what he said. 100 years ago, she said it. How many times did she need it? What's happening? Jesus Christ suffered, died in a way that we can't comprehend. You want to know why it was so hard for him? Because he loved the people who did it. Jesus Christ loved with all his heart, his mind, and his soul the bastards, all of us, who crucified him and beat him and put that crown of thorns on his head. Do you think he wore that crown of thorns so that you could walk away from the statues being taken down? No, he didn't. I can't talk about it anymore. Comments, questions, christinecourt@yahoo.com or christinecourtapsychic@gmail.com. On Wednesday, July 1st at 7 p.m. over on Blog Talk Radio on Through the Darkness, Reverend Ed and I will welcome James Anito and Carl Johnson of Duo Demonology. Duo Demonology is a research unit comprised of demonologists Carl L. Johnson and James Anito, both of whom I know. It is the central goal of Duo Demonology to legitimize demonology, study of the lore and tradition of wicked spirits through the application of scientific methods. Please call in to ask Carl Johnson or James Anito any questions you have on the subject of demonology, hauntings, possession, or oppression. The number to call in is 516-531-9850, and that will be this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Weather Week. I haven't heard from Reverend Ed Broderick, my blessed co-host, who's an awesome man of God, does a lot of wonderful Bible studies. Frank has stepped away from the show, so Frank Martino, God bless you. Thank you for helping us with the show. And maybe he'll pop in from time to time, I don't know. But Reverend Ed Broderick is our new co-host. He's my new co-host. Wonderful. And he has gifts of discernment that blow your mind, and prophecy which come to pass. And I'm proud to call him the spiritual director, and very glad to have him. So follow us over on Blog Talk, or follow us over on Spreaker, or listen to us every Wednesday at 12 noon, radio.com. Through the Darkness. Please, faith, be submissive to the evil in the world. For any way I offended, oh well, you'll get over it. Have a great week, day, month, everyone.